Now let's remove the replication whatever we have set up so far and recreate the replication again, and we'll go through in detail. To drop the replication, first we will delete the subscription. Okay, so it is going to connect publisher and it is going to remove okay. So now we have removed the subscription. Let's remove the publication. Okay, so we removed the publication. Yeah, distribution, let's disable the distribution. Okay, I'm just cleaning up the replication. I'm going to again recreate the replication, and I'm going to explain whatever the options that we specify. Okay. Okay, so all right, I am going to again set up the replication. First, we have to configure the distributor. That is the first step. We have to identify who is going to be the distributor. Distributor is the place where the changes are being captured. So here we have three instances. This is publisher, this is subscriber, and this is distributor. We identified that. Okay, so let us set up, let's say, okay, let's say this is my distributor, and in this screen you specify who is the distributor. Okay, of course this is the distributor. Okay, whatever the instance that we are in, that is the distributor. So let's select that instance. Okay, so now we are saying this SQL dist will act as its own distributor. The snapshot folder, this is the place where the snapshot files, if you remember from my previous videos, snapshot agent will run the BCP command, will take the BCP out into a snapshot folder. Okay, because first we have to apply the snapshot, entire database, entire table data, and apply it to target table. That is the first step before we set up the CDC, right? Before we set up the transaction replication. So first we have to take the BCP out from the table. So this is the place where the BCP is going to write. Okay, sorry, let's come back. I'm going to cancel and come back from beginning. Okay, so this is that this is the folder where the snapshot files are going to be created. Okay, all right, if you take a look at this path, this is the instance SQL 11.SQL dist distribution database. So this is the database that is going to store all the changes. Log reader agent will read the log files of the source database and write the records into the distribution database. So we have to create the distribution database. So to create the distribution database, we have to specify MDF and LDF file. Okay, that's what it is. So publisher, who is going to publish the data to this distribution database? Okay, definitely this is not the server, because this is a distributor server. So this distributor server is not going to publish the database. So uncheck that. Okay, add the publisher. Okay, this is the publisher and this is the distribution database. So you can specify the password. This password is distributors, the publishers store the data in distribution database. Okay, so they have to connect using a specific password. if the publisher is writing records into distribution database, this is the password they have to use. Okay, so you have to specify what is the password. Okay, configure distribution. So I'm not going to create the configure distribution through GUI. I'm going to generate the file, and I would like to see. Okay, so here if you see configure distribution, this is the file that we created. Okay, this is what it generated. Okay, so here it's supposed to be password, whatever the password admin123 I have specified. Whatever the options that we have selected in the GUI here, the configuration, see here whatever the options that we have specified, blah blah blah. Finally we generated the script. We didn't execute right away. Okay, so this is the script actually it generated. So here I am specifying this is the distributor and this is the distribution database name, and after that I'm going to add this publisher. So whatever the options I have specified in the GUI, it just created the script. So now you can run the script against distributor. So now I have connected to distributor. You can see that here. Now I can run this. Now it created the distribution database. You can see what are the things that it did. And one more thing, I remember just looking at this output. Once you have set up the replication, and after that if you try to upgrade the SQL Server to next service pack or whatever the cumulative update, you have to update the distribution database. Okay, there is a command to upgrade the distribution database. That thing you have to do. There is a command. So if you keep updating the SQL Server to next service pack or whatever the cumulative updates, make sure the replication won't work. Okay, you have to update the distribution database. Those tables, whatever the system metadata, it is changing all the time. So with every new release, so you have to upgrade that metadata, upgrade the distribution database. Okay, for now you can see that here what we have done, we added this server as a distributor, we added this distribution database, and after that we added this publisher as it to the distributor. This publisher is going to publish the transactions to this distribution database. That's what we did. So let's take a look at it. See here, the distribution database is there. Okay, it is under system database, and let's see what are the jobs that it created. You can see it created some bunch of cleanup jobs. Okay, I will explain you later what are these cleanup jobs. Okay, so you can see that here agent history cleanup and all those cleanup jobs it has created. So now we have configured the distributor. We have configured the distribution database. Now we have to create the publication. You can see new Oracle publication, new SQL Server publication. Okay, so if your source is Oracle, then you have to use this option. So now our source is SQL Server. All you have to say is just new publication. So who is the distributor? Of course, this server, SQL Dist server. So you have to select SQL distributor, and of course you have to specify the password. Publisher has to specify a password to connect to distributor, because distributor has the security restrictions. Okay, whoever is going to publish to this distribution database, they have to specify this password. So you have to specify that password while creating the publication. So which database I am going to publish? Replication test DB. That is the database. This is the database I am going to publish. What is the replication that you are trying to set up? Transactional publication. Click next. You see that here, specify the articles. What is that you are going to publish? Okay, I am going to publish the data, right? Tables. See that here I have just one table called customer. You can see that here there is only one table called customer. There are 366 records. the table, it needs to have primary key. If you don't have primary key, you cannot publish, you cannot replicate the data. That is a requirement. So you have to create a primary key. There is a primary key and you are able to select. And you can create some more table if you want. For example, department, okay, ID. I created a department table. Now let's go back. Okay, I think it is not it's not refreshing the screen. Let's see. No, let's cancel and come back again. Refresh, you will see that the department table. Okay, let's create a publication again. So we can make this server as a distributor, but we have separate dedicated server as a distributor. So we are going to use this server as a distributor. So I have to select this option and add that server as my distributor. I have to specify the password. Okay, so I'm going to specify this database. I'm going to publish the data from this database. Transactional publication. Now you can see I see the two tables, okay, customer and department. I can select both of them. I can specify whichever the columns I wanted to replicate. This is one of the optimizations that you have to do. You don't want to replicate all the table data, right? You don't need to replicate all the columns. Again, if you replicate all the columns, you will be sending lot of data. Sometimes you may not need all the data, particularly if you are setting up a replication to a different server just for the reporting application or for some purpose, okay, not for disaster recovery. Okay, disaster recovery server, you need to have an entire database on the disaster recovery server. But this is not a disaster recovery server. This server is for some reporting application, and that reporting application don't need all the columns. Just out of 30 columns, it needs just 5 columns. So select 5 columns here. Okay, you don't need to replicate all 30 columns. So that is one of the optimization you might be doing. Otherwise you will end up dumping a lot of data into distribution and copying and all kind of things. So this is column level filtering. Selecting, unselecting is column level filtering. So here I am selecting these two tables for the replication. I am going to replicate the data for these two tables. Here you can click article properties. Select this table, set properties of highlighted table article. Click that. How you wanted to replicate? What are the things you wanted to replicate? Okay, you said two tables, but again, table will have a foreign key, table will have a check constraint, table will have non-cluster index, default triggers, extended properties, blah blah blah, so many things. Do you want to replicate all of them or just the clustered index? You can specify what are the things that you actually wanted to replicate about a table, right? Of course you wanted to replicate the data. That is why the clustered index is true. Of course you can specify this false. That means you will be replicating the data, but again the target table will not have any index, but generally by default it will be there. This is fine. Clustered index you can replicate. See here, non-clustered index, this is false by default. That means when you generate a snapshot and send the snapshot and apply the snapshot on the target, non-clustered indexes will not be created by default. But if you specify true, the definitions of non-clustered index will be in the snapshot files. Like that you can specify what are the things that you wanted to run. So I'm deselecting that option. I'm just going with default option. You can see what are the various things. Okay, table partitioning. You want to replicate the partitioning schemes. You want to replicate the index partitioning schemes and all those things. do you want the destination object to be same as the source object? See here, you are replicating customer table, correct? Then the target, I have created that table. Okay, so let's drop this table. Let's previous example we just created it. Let's drop it. Okay, I just drop the table on the target. So now this is a blank database. My subscriber is a blank database. Okay, now when you replicate this table, do you want the table to have same name here or different name? You can have a different name here. For example, you can say my target is customer 1. Then your customer table will be replicated to customer 1 on the subscriber. You can specify a different schema. Okay, so you can have a separate schema. You can create a schema here. For example, where is that? See here, schema. You can create a schema. For example, schema name is this. Schema owner is DBO. Okay, now I have the schema. Now I wanted to create this table as ramu.customer1. Replicate the data from dbo.customer on source to ramu.customer1 on target. I can do that. Okay, there is a possibility. Okay, so I'm not going to do that. Action if name is in use. If the name already there, for example, if that table is already there, then it is going to drop the table and create a new one. See here, I just manually deleted it. If the table is already there, then probably it would delete automatically. If this table already exists, it will drop and create. The snapshot files will have that script. You can convert any data types if you want. There are plenty of options here. How you wanted to, what are the things that you wanted to replicate. So finally, insert delivery format. I will explain you these things. Okay, let's talk a little bit about it. See here, log reader agent will read the log file and write the records into distribution database. In the distribution database, you have two tables, MS REPL commands, MS REPL transactions. Okay, there are two tables. If you insert a record into customer table, the log reader agent will put a entry into the two tables. So whatever the insert statement that you write, it will write appropriate statement there. So what is that you wanted to write? You wanted to put a stored procedure like MS insert DBO customer, or you wanted to have an insert statement. Okay, you wanted to put insert statement. How you wanted to write the records into the MS REPL commands and MS REPL transactions table. For example, if your subscriber is a SQL server, I would prefer keeping it default values. Okay, with let's use stored procedures to write records into target table. Okay, that's a better way. Okay, that's optimized way. Okay, but if your source subscriber is a different database, okay, different heterogeneous database, MySQL or Oracle, then you might want to use the plain insert statement instead of the Microsoft stored procedures. So when we look into those things, when we started looking into MS REPL, we will again change these values and see how it behaves. So that is what this article properties. Okay, this article, what are the properties that you wanted to set? Okay, what are the things that you wanted to replicate about this article? So like that you can specify. The next screen is you wanted to replicate all the rows, or you want to filter out certain rows. For example, if you are replicating only the orders that are created in Florida, you are going to replicate the data that has been created in Florida. Then you can say, then you can put state equal to FL, some condition. You are filtering the horizontally, so you can specify the table rows here. Sometimes you may do that. This is another important screen. So you can see that here. How are you going to initialize the subscriber? Initializing subscriber means how are you going to apply the snapshot, okay, initial data load to that So you have to apply the initial data load, right? If there are 2 million rows before you set up the transaction replication, how are you going to apply this? Okay, you have to how are you going to initialize this target database? That's what the next option says. Okay, so there are a couple of ways. One way is use the snapshot agent. Then snapshot agent will BCP out all the data and it will be applied. Until then, whatever the distribution agent will not be applied. So at the end of the setup, you have to specify how are you going to run the snapshot agent. If the database is really huge, then you might want to take a backup and restore. So you have to decide how are you going to initialize the target database. Okay, are you going to use snapshot agent to generate the BCP files and apply the BCP files onto the target database? Do you want to go that route? The other thing is backup and restore. For example, if your database is 1 terabyte or 4 terabytes or 10 terabytes, if you create a snapshot agent against 10 terabyte database, really it's going to kill your database. So you don't want to take that route. Probably to initialize a bigger database or huge databases or very large databases, then you might have to take a backup and restore. So while setting up the transaction replication, you have the immediate sync option. Okay, sync type, sorry, there is a sync type option. I'll show you at the end. So in that case, you might have to just take a backup of source database and restore it. Or you can say, my database is already initialized and you can just keep replicating the data. There are plenty of options. First we will use this snapshot. Okay, but even for creating the snapshot, if you are using the snapshot agent for initialization of subscriber database, you don't want to select this option, because you see that here it looks like you wanted to initialize the subscriber database, correct? It looks very innocent, and you might want to check this checkbox, but do not check this. It has other things that are related. For example, it says, see that here, create a snapshot immediately and keep the snapshot available to initialize subscriptions. So the snapshot will be created, and whatever the transactions that are in the distribution database, it will be retained until 72 hours or 48 hours, whatever the hours that you specify. So in the distribution, I haven't shown you the distribution. Okay, I'll show you later what are the distribution agent properties. Okay, this is something to do with the distribution agent. Let's not check this option. Whatever it is, either your BCP or backup or recovery, whatever it is, do not check this option. Okay, so click next. So snapshot agent, how you want to run the snapshot agent? You want to run the snapshot agent using a different account or SQL Server service agent account. Okay, so you can specify however way you wanted. You can have a different account that you wanted to run the snapshot agent service. See, the distribution agent, log reader agent, and the snapshot agent, all these agents are Windows processes that you will be running as a SQL Server job. You will see log reader agent job, distribution agent job, and snapshot agent job. These SQL agent jobs will be running the process behind the scenes. So how do you want to run it? You will specify, okay, whichever. Okay, if you specify this option, then you can enter some domain account. Okay, some company name, backslash, some name. So then you will see a credentials and proxy will be created on the server, on the distributor server, because you are specifying this SQL Server agent to run under a different account. Okay, in this case, I'm going to choose agent service account. Okay, so how you are going to connect to publisher? You can use the same process account by impersonating the process account. Sometimes if there are in two different domains, for example, your distributor is in a different domain than the publisher, what do? In that case, you can say my distributor as agent is going to run under this account, but it is going to connect to publisher using a SQL Server login account. You see that here, distributor agent, where is that? Snapshot agent, right? Okay, 1 second. Yeah, snapshot agent. So snapshot agent will run on the distributor on the server. Okay, this process, these two processes, they run here on the distributor. So how they are going to connect to subscriber, a publisher? If they are on two different domains, this server and this server, if they are on two different domains, and if there is no trust relationship between those two domains, then you can specify this snapshot agent to connect to publisher using SQL Server account. So you can specify SQL Server account. Since all my services, they are all running under the same computer, obviously I will not have that problem. So this it is just to specify how are you going to run it and how are you going to connect. Use the security settings from the snapshot agent. Otherwise you can specify a different thing for log reader agent. It's up to you, because most of the time you keep same thing for log reader and snapshot agent, how you want to run and how you want to connect to the publisher. Click next. So that's it, we came to end of the screen. Create the publication. If you say okay, if you say next and specify the publication name, it will just generate a script. Here I'm going to publication name is test replication, test pub. Finish. Now you can see create publication. Now here okay, I have to give you the password because GUI removed the password. If you remember, we entered the password in the GUI, okay, but it removed the password while generating the script. So here first we are specifying adding the distributor. So here we are specifying, hey, use this server as a distributor, and then I am enabling this database as a publisher. Okay, so I'm going to publish this database. It is just enabling that option, and after that it is actually creating the publication. Okay, you can see that here this is the publication name and description, sync method, concurrent, retention and retention, allow push, allow pull, whatever the options that it is going to allow. Okay, so you are allowing push and pull, allow anonymous and all those things. Enable for internet, snapshot in default folder. You are going to put the snapshot in the default folder. You have default folder and alternate folders. Compress the snapshot. You can specify true or false. Okay, so you're not going to compress. And allow subscription copy. Yeah, we will look into it one by one. Basically you are adding the publication here. This is one thing you may have to remember, sync method, concurrent. So let's take a look at the sync method one more time. See here, sync method, it says concurrent. It produces bulk BCP output. BCP output, it is valid for transactional publications on SQL Server, not for Oracle Publisher. Oracle Publisher, you have to use character mode bulk copy program. So that is what one important option while specifying. And other thing is allow initialize from backup. Okay, we will talk about these backup options a little later. Right now we are going to use snapshot agent to initialize the subscriber. Okay, that is what our goal is. That is why we did not specify allow initialize from backup option. Let's see what value we have in that option. False. We don't want to initialize subscriber from a backup. We wanted to initialize from snapshot files. So adding the publication snapshot, basically how you wanted to run the snapshot agent job. Okay, snapshot agent, log reader agent, they're all jobs. Okay, we added one article. We added two articles, two tables. We are going to replicate two tables, so two articles. Okay, that article information, customer table, department table, blah blah blah. You can see log based. You can see all the article related information. So now I am going to execute this against publisher, not against the subscriber. Okay, let's connect to publisher. Okay, it says you have updated publisher property active successfully. Okay, this one, job started successfully, this one. The log reader agent job has been implicitly created and will run under service agent account. Yeah, that is fine. Now you will see publication here. Okay, you will see the publication. Are there any subscriptions? No, nobody is subscribing to this publication. Publication is there. It is there, and log reader agent, snapshot agent, they are all created. Those agents are created and those agents are running, started capturing the data. Now our next step is to create the subscription. Okay, before we create subscription, let's go and take a look at the jobs that it created. Okay, we are on publisher. Okay, are there any jobs on publisher? Subscription cleanup, that's fine. I will explain you later about that. Now let's go and take a look at distributor. Are there any jobs? See here, we have two jobs running. One job is log reader. Log reader is reading the log, capturing the transactions. Okay, it is running. And this is snapshot agent job. We never ran the snapshot agent job. We didn't specify. Okay, while creating the publication, we said we don't want to we don't want to run the snapshot agent. Okay, that's why it is not running. These are the two jobs. Now, and let's take a look at the system database distribution. Now you see where is that MS REPL commands. There are no commands, right? There are no commands and no transactions. Now we have publisher script here. Now let's take a look at publisher database. You see that there is already 366 records in the table. Now I'm going to insert some more records. This is a script just to loop through and insert the records. Okay, I'm going to keep inserting some records every 3 seconds. I will keep inserting a record into customer table. Okay, I'm going to run this script on publisher database. We have the publisher script in the publisher server. So this will, okay, I will move it to replication test DB and let's start running. Okay, now it is inserting. Okay, so all right, now log reader agent should start collecting the data, right? Because the records are being inserted into source database. Now log reader agent will read and store it in the distribution agent job. Now let's take a look at see here MS REPL command, it should have values. Okay, since we did not run the snapshot agent, it did not collect transactions. It is not capturing. All right, now let's run the snapshot agent job. Okay, there are many ways to run the snapshot agent job. So you can run the snapshot agent job like this, start the job like this, or you can open the monitor. Okay, you can see the agent here. You can start the agent either way, either way. So there are plenty of ways. So we'll start the agent. So it completed. That means snapshot is generated. Okay, now let's take a look at see here, this is where the snapshot is created. So we said this, let's take a look at the publication. See here, go to publication, properties, general. Okay, so this is the publication name, blah blah blah, and the snapshot. You see that this is the folder. While creating the while configuring the distributor, we have specified this is the folder on the distributor. Okay, so see, typically the distributor server is different than the publisher. Okay, since all the instances are on the same server, I have specified this path. Okay, it should be UNC path, because backslash distributor server name backslash some, you will be creating some share folder. Okay, REPL data in share folder. Okay, so it will be like this. I can't change this value. For example, it will be like this. Okay, distributor server name backslash some REPL data folder. Okay, this is a share folder. So you will create a share folder under in the server the distributor. So you will be using a folder like this here while configuring the distributor. While configuring the probably I should have created that way. Where is that? Distributor properties here, right? Publisher, distributor. Okay. Yeah, it looks like I have I don't know how to change these values. Probably these values are stored. I don't know where to change this snapshot, default snapshot folder. Let's see if we can change it here. Yeah, I don't know how to change this value, but you can put it in a different folder. Okay, since we already this is alternate folder. Okay, I will explain you what is the alternate folder. Sometimes you may have some trouble storing in this folder, so you can put the snapshot files in a different alternate folder, and you can specify this alternate folder in the subscriber. Okay, but I don't know where this value is. Probably in one of the registry keys. I don't know. Okay, but usually it should be UNC path. That's what I wanted to explain you guys. It should be UNC path. Okay. See here, this is the publication properties. Subscriptions never expire, but they can deactivate. Yeah, this is fine. Whatever the options here, they are pretty much fine. So this is the whatever the articles that you are here, you see here, they are fine. Filtering, snapshot. Here you see that I will explain you later what is this. For example, after applying the snapshot, okay, after applying the snapshot, if you want to run any scripts, then you can put it here. FTP snapshot. Yeah, I have never played with it, so I don't know much about it. Subscription options. Here you can change if you wanted to allow the subscriber to initialize from a backup file, then you can change the value here. Okay, and allow non SQL Server subscribers. If you have Oracle subscriber, then you have to say true. Okay, so snapshot always available, false. Snapshot is not available. Just clean up the data. After 4 hours or 8 hours, whatever the hours retention period, just clean up the data. Okay, because snapshot is not available. Okay, replicate schema changes. Do you want to replicate the schema along with data? Whenever you change any schema changes, do you want to replicate that? By default, yes. Okay, but again, not all schema changes will be replicated, but most of them will be replicated. Okay, I don't know what is that. I haven't done much research. What are the schema changes that are not going to get replicated? But pretty much most of the schema changes that we do, alter table, add column, those things will be replicated. So anytime if you do data type changes, then you have to regenerate the snapshot. Okay, so allow peer-to-peer. Are we setting up the peer-to-peer replication? No, simple transactional unidirectional replication. That's it. Okay, publication access. Who is going to access this publication? And agent security. If you wanted to change the security of agent, to use a different account or to set up something else, okay, initially when you are creating publication, this is how you set up, and later on that might not work, so you might want to change it to something else, right? So you can come here and change how these agents should supposed to run. Okay, so you can see that here all the options. Okay, so this is the publication. Now let's run the snapshot. Okay, so yeah, snapshot has been created. We just ran it from here. Okay, so otherwise you can run the snapshot job. Okay, this is what the snapshot job. You can see the history. It just ran. Okay, it just ran, and you can take a look at the snapshot folder. You can see that here this is a snapshot folder. Did we change the publication? Yeah, I'm going to run the snapshot from here. Yep. All right, now you see the snapshot is created. Okay, so you have to specify this option, snapshot, always available. Okay, that's how you generate the snapshot. So you can see these are all the files it created. Okay, so you can see, let's take a look at it one by one. You can see that here schema script. Okay, okay, let's open it here. You can see first it drops the table. That's what we said in the replication setup. In the articles we said drop the existing object and create the new one, right? So that's what it said. Okay, drop the existing one and create the table. Okay, and you can see snapshot script. Okay, I don't know what is this script. Okay, let's take a look at index script. So alter table, add constraint, clustered index. You can see that here, and I think this contains the data. Yeah, this contains all the data. Okay, so basically the schema and data. So did we specify anything else? No, we have not specified anything else. Okay, only the clustered index and data, and all these are ms insert. Okay, these options. Okay, that's what we specified in the article. Now same thing for department. Of course, departments there is no data. Okay, this is what the snapshot file is. Okay, so now let's take a look at you see that here it commands it started. Now log reader is capturing the commands now. Okay, so you can see that here sp repl transactions and commands. You can see that here commands, these are the commands it is capturing. So if you wanted to know what are these commands, maybe you can use distributor, right? You can use this command. So we are on distributor. If you execute this, you will see you can see this is what it is going to apply. First it is going to apply the snapshot. Okay, this customer whatever the customer, you can see that here this is what it is going to apply. First it is going to create the customer schema, and then customer index, and then it is going to load the data. You can see that here. Okay, customer2.bcp, customer2.bcp. Yeah, this bcp file, this file it is going to load. You can see that here. So it is going to first create the customer table, drop the customer table, create the customer table, insert the data into a customer table. Similarly do that for department table. Like that it is going to execute all those things, and after that it is going to insert the values here. You can see that these are the commands that it is going to execute. Okay, it is going to insert customers. You can see these are all the statements. Okay, 106. Now if I execute one more time, 134. Okay, 673. Let's execute one more time. Now 677. Okay, these are all the commands. Now let's do one more thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to change it to articles, right? So articles, and I'll say don't use the call statements. I wanted to see the insert statement, actual insert statement. Okay, so it says start the snapshot agent to generate. Okay, yeah, go ahead and start it. See that here it started again. You can see that it is it started the snapshot. That's why you see, I think if you go UNC, there is one more snapshot now. Okay, 357. You can see these files here. So let's execute one more time. Now you see the commands after executing the snapshots here. It is going to now it shows the insert statement, right? So that is what the difference is. When you say show me the plain insert statement, you know, see here the articles, select article, click properties. Now you say I wanted to see the insert statement. Okay, that's what that's why it is showing the plain insert statement. So this statement is a ANSI statement, and you can execute this statement against any server, you know, Oracle or MySQL, whatever it is. If you execute this command, you will be browsing all the rows. Okay, so probably you don't want to do this. You might want to just say select top 100. Okay, say this browse repl commands. This is a stored procedure, and the stored procedure is browsing this table. Okay, so if you browse this table, you see that here command, it is a hexadecimal value. You can't see what is this. You can't see what is this value. So that is why you use this command uh, to see what exact values it is. Sometimes your replication might break, your replication might stop. Okay, it says I cannot replicate this particular transaction for so and so reasons. Then you will come to this table and you will debug what is the issue that is going on. This is the command that you use to browse the REPL command tables. So there is a REPL transactions. Okay, so what is the REPL transaction? See, the REPL transaction, a transaction might have 10 commands, for example, right? In a transaction, there might be 10 statements, 4 insert statements, 2 update statements, another 4 delete statements, all in one transaction. So that is what the relationship is. One transaction might have 10 commands. You might want to take a look at the transactions sometimes. So mainly, this is the table, REPL commands table, and you may want to browse this REPL command like this. Okay, so if you are specifically looking for particular record, you can also specify like this. Okay, so if there are any errors, we will look into MS REPL errors. So now we have created the publication. That's what we did so far. We created the publication and we said we are going to use the snapshot for the publication. Okay, so now we have to create the subscription. Let's create the subscription. So we are in, you can see that here we are here. So subscriber, now I'm going to create subscription. So who is my publisher? SQL Server. Okay, SQL Server, who is at SQL Server? Select the publisher and select the publication, click next. Do you want to run the distribution agent at subscriber or at distributor? Where you want to run the distribution agent? So you might say, okay, let's run the distribution agent at the subscriber. Makes little sense because if you have a dedicated distributor server, you may want to select this. If you are combining distributor and publisher, you may want to select this. In this case, we have dedicated server. Probably we can run this here. Okay, but I just want to select pull subscriptions. Now select the subscriber. Okay, this is a subscriber. And what is a subscription database? What is the okay? This is a subscription database. I wanted to replicate the data from this database on this server to this server to this database. Okay, if I don't have this database, you can create a blank database, or you can specify here create a new database. It's up to you. So click next, and distribution agent, of course, pull or push subscription, a distribution agent job that will run. So where the distribution agent will run. Okay, sorry, how that is going to run. Okay, what is a service account that what is account that distribution agent process will run under, and how the distribution agent is going to connect to distributor, and how it is going to connect to subscriber. All right, now synchronization schedule. How are you going to run the synchronization? Run continuously. Do you want to initialize subscription? Okay, yeah, you can say initialize subscription. Okay, so if you don't say initialize subscription, then you have to initialize subscription manually, either through backup and restore. But in this case, I'm going to use snapshot because my database is small. Not my database is small. Whatever the tables that I'm going to replicate, they are small size. Okay, they are in few GBs, or maybe 2 GB or 4 GB or something like that. Remember, when you generate a snapshot, BCP might create some blockings while BCP is generating. While BCP is generating these files, it might block the transactions. So you may have to watch for it. So I'm going to initialize right away using a BCP. Okay, snapshot agent. Okay, create subscription. I don't want to create subscription through GUI. Let's generate a script, and I'm going to put that script in temp folder. Do I have a script already? No, I don't have script, so I can generate the script. Script is created. Okay, all right. Now add subscription. you see that here, script to be run at publisher. You have to run this script against publisher. You have to say from the publisher who is a subscriber. So for this publication, subscriber is this guy. Okay, this is the destination database. Sync type is automatic. That means I am going to synchronize from the snapshot BCP files. Subscription type is full and update mode is read only. That means I am not sending updatable what do you call that, updatable subscription. Okay, this is the subscription is not a updatable subscription. What is meant by updatable subscription? Subscription can also update a publisher. That means what? It's a bidirectional, right? Actually there is something in the transactional replication, you can make that actual transaction replication is a unidirectional. Better use transactional replication as a unidirectional. Okay, don't use updatable subscriptions or immediate updating subscription or queued updating subscription. I don't recommend doing that. That means you are trying to achieve bidirectional replication. Okay, if you want to do bidirectional replication, go with merge replication or peer-to-peer. Don't use transaction replication and start coming from there. Of course, a lot of people they were doing back in 2005 or 2000, but this will be deprecated in future release. Updatable subscriptions will be deprecated. So if you are going to update any data from the subscriber that you wanted to replicate to publisher, then use merge replication. Okay, we have dedicated merge replication for bidirectional. Okay, sync type automatic. Let's see the sync type. Add subscription. You can see that here sync type while adding a subscription. So this is very important. If you are synchronizing the subscriber using backup and restore, you may have to specify this option. This is automatic is default. That means schema and initial data for published tables are transferred to subscriber first. This is the default. Okay, if you are going to use the BCP, and you will use replication support only. Okay, this option, see, for example, sometimes you don't want to initialize the subscriber. Okay, you don't want to initialize subscriber. Just your requirement is just keep replicating the data from source to target. I don't want to initialize the target because target might be having 20 years of data, source might be having last 3 years of data. Okay, if you initialize, if you take a BCP, if you take a snapshot of source database, then you will be really wiping out the target database. Okay, on the subscriber, remember you have 20 years of data. On the source, you have 3 years of data. If you take BCP of source database and apply it on target, you will be wiping out all 20 years of data. So you don't want to initialize the target database. You just want to replicate the transactions that are occurring right now. Okay, just replicate the transactions that are occurring right now. Start from now, keep replicating the data. Okay, forget about past. Then you can select this option, replication support only. Okay, if you are going to use the backup and restore, you can specify this. This is a typical setup, automatic. That means you want to apply the snapshot files and then set up the log reader agent, whatever the transactions. Okay, so this is the default. That's why you see automatic here. Where is that automatic? So you have to run this script from the publisher. So let's connect to publisher and run this. Okay, done. Now let's connect to subscriber because we have some script to run at subscriber. Subscriber is saying, hey, we are going to add the full subscription. Okay, now we added the subscription at the publisher. Let's take a look at the publisher database. Publisher, okay. See that here, publisher says I have one subscription here. This is my publication, and when I click the publication, this is my subscription. It says, now let's go to subscriber. Do I have a subscription here? No, I don't have subscription, right? That's why I have to create subscription on the subscriber now. Okay, add pull subscription. Again, this is my publisher, this is the publication database, blah blah blah, all these things you will see that here. In the pull subscription, there's nothing much. Updatable subscription, no, it is read only, that means one directional. Immediate sync, yes. Okay, immediate sync, this is what, add pull subscription. Is whether synchronization files are created or recreated each time snapshot agent runs. Okay, so that is fine. You can just leave that option, and pull subscription agent property details. Okay, I think this should be fine. There is nothing really interesting to explain. So you can run the script on the subscriber. Sorry, click the wrong button. A job has been created on the subscriber. That means distribution agent job is successfully started. Where? On the subscriber. Now if I refresh, I'm on the subscriber. Okay, if refresh, I should see a job that is running. Now this job might be replicating the data. Let's take a look at the data. Refresh, you'll see that here it's done. Now see the numbers are increasing. That means it's replicating the data. Now it shows 985. Okay, refresh one more time, 986. Okay, every 3 seconds this script is inserting. It's still running. Okay, every 3 seconds it is inserting. So every 3 seconds the subscriber will see the numbers increase. See, now it's 990. Okay, now it's working fine. Alright, so that's how you generally set up the transactional replication. Let's see if there is anything else to cover. Okay, so yeah, that is pretty much a transactional replication. Now we will look into the debugging. If there is an error, how to fix that error.